Hey, Gloucester Township. I'm Joe Allen. It's Keith Gibbons. This is the GT Observer podcast. It's man, we're like mid-June. I was just thinking,
can't even believe it's mid-June already.
it's like I had all this stuff that I was like, when May gets here, I'm gonna start doing summer.
Yeah.
And now it's like June, and I'm like, I want to do.
Got to start raking the leaves, you know.
Yeah, I want to do May over again. I haven't. All I've done is I feel like, man. Whew.
Yeah.
So this is the June 9th council meeting recap.
Yeah. Well, happy Father's Day to all you watching it, because it'll be right after Father's Day.
It'll be the day after Father's Day when we throw this out there. So hopefully y'all did something good this weekend.
Yeah.
This is the June 9th council meeting recap.
Yep.
So,
you were not there. I got there a little late. I forget what I had going on, but I definitely just throw my disclaimer up there that all my opinions are my own, and do not represent anyone else on the Board of Education in Gloucester Township. But the I forget what the heck I had. I think it was a school board. Maybe I did. I had a committee meeting is why I was not there, and then I got there late. They had the ceremony for Citizens Police Academy. That's what they kicked the meeting off with over there, which is always a cool event to see, like everybody that goes and. I
remember a couple people we knew did that before.
Yeah.
And told us about it, and it was always something that I thought back when I was running for council. I thought if I had won, that would have been the first thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that just to learn more about what the police are doing.
Like what the police are doing, kind of like, some of the things that you don't really realize as a regular citizen. So they had that graduation ceremony. It's a 16-week program. Gives them an inside look into the department. So that's what they kicked it off with. And then after that, they went into a closed session to discuss a legal matter, which we will find out later on what that was about. I don't know if you pulled any clips for that or not, Joe, but it was basically It was about a lawsuit. We were getting sued, and it was because of, well, we'll get into it later on in the meeting. But so then the first public portion, which is for agenda items only, no one had any comments, and they went right into
this new method that they've got of shutting down back and forth is really kind of first public portion.
It's working great.
It works great. Yeah, nobody's allowed to talk. Nobody even bothers. So it's first public portion.
Exactly as planned.
Like there's never a first public portion anymore. So no speakers there. The 2025 budget was there was an amendment put out there for it. It's just numbers changes.
Well, they amended the budget, recalled the budget, reintroduced it, whatever they did. It was reading basically all the budget numbers back in and approving that before moving on to
not drastic changes that I picked up. There's a lot. I mean, Nancy read off. I felt like numbers for.
Yeah, she might still be reading them. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just minutes and minutes and minutes, and sometimes I rewound a couple times. I was like, I don't see anything drastic here. So they amended the budget with some new expenses, new income, I guess. So
then after that, we got into the eGov section where people send in questions to our local government. And the first one came in from Dina Hendry, which was about the thing I was talking about earlier. So let's play clip one.
Our first is from Dina Hendry at 89 Lamppost Lane. Good evening. I would like more information regarding the settlement agreement approved by resolution between the Township of Gloucester and 1000 Williamstown, New Jersey, LLC, referenced in Resolution R2506-195. Specifically, I would like to know the following. What were the claims or allegations made by 1000 Williamstown, New Jersey, LLC against the Township? What are the terms and conditions of the settlement agreement, including any monetary payments, land use concessions, or other obligations assumed by the Township? And was any redevelopment designation, zoning relief, or permitting included as part of the settlement? The plaintiff, which is Williamstown, New Jersey, LLC, claims that the Township breached the redevelopment agreement between the Township and the plaintiff by adopting an ordinance that implemented more strict controls over warehouse development in the applicable redevelopment area, which is the New Vision redevelopment plan. As regarding the terms and agreements of that settlement agreement or any monetary payments or concessions, the settlement does not provide any monetary payments by the township. The main obligation of the township is to adopt amendments to the applicable redevelopment plan that will allow residential town home development on the property owned by the plaintiff or to be acquired by the plaintiff, and to add 2 additional properties to the applicable redevelopment area with the consent of the property owners. In exchange for the agreement, the plaintiff has agreed to give up the right to build a warehouse on its property and dismiss all claims against the township for damages.
All right, so to explain that one
Yeah.
to people, do you recall this? What this was about?
This was the no warehouses thing. Like,
This was back when there was a big push for the no warehouses, and warehouses were going up all over the area, up and down 295 corridor, whatever you call it, and the golf course was the big one, but there was also another one that was going to be behind the Target over what's that? Is that Cross Keys Road or?
Yeah, it's Cross Keys and then Williamstown
Williamstown
area
Road. Yeah. So back there's a bunch of townhouses that are currently built, and there was one piece of property that was in existence that somebody had purchased, and we're going to put a warehouse there. And what happened with that whole thing, to go back in time, all that property where those townhouses were already zoned for warehouses, and it was in what was called the New Vision, I want to say the New Vision redevelopment area or whatever. And what they do is these zoning overlays, and what happened was they forgot that was originally actually zoned as warehouses. So all these townhomes went up there. Somebody has this property and say, well, you know what? I have something that's zoned for warehouse. We're putting a warehouse up. And everybody started freaking out, like, you can't put a warehouse here. This is where all the townhouses are. And they're like, wait, hold on a second. Actually, no, that's what it's zoned for. So because of something that they completely forgot that they had done by putting up all this, all this building that they wanted going on, they had forgot that they left this piece of property that's still zoned as warehouses, and the owner of it saying, well, what do you mean I can't do this? You just now passed a new ordinance to stop warehouses from being built because they saw the outrage that was coming from the public about it, and they needed to stop this warehouse from being built in all these people's houses because that would really be a wrench thrown into
terrible area too.
Terrible, right? But it was a huge mistake, a huge blunder on their part, in my opinion. And to save face, I guess they said, all right, well, guess what? You guys are allowed to also build that, and we're also going to add in 2 other properties that are adjacent or nearby there, and include that in the whole thing. So that was the settlement agreement. But yeah, we were getting sued over decisions that they had made, forgetting things that they had done in the past. Like I'm not saying that they're lying here, but I'm saying when people lie all the time, they have to remember what their lies are. This is the same scenario here. When you keep changing zoning and doing all that stuff, you forget what the heck you actually did. And at some point it catches up. And this is one of those scenarios where it caught up to them.
It was good.
I believe that's how
it was a good move, I think, on their part to make sure to change it so that we didn't wind up with a warehouse there. It's kind of, I thought it would be kind of disastrous. It's a heavily trafficked area right there, Cross Keys Road.
Yeah.
That would mean more trucks have to go down Cross Keys Road to get to 42,
right?
Or they'd have to travel Sicklerville Road, which are already congested areas. So, kind of good on them, I guess, for making that change, even though they missed something ahead of time. But
so I'm not 100% sure that is what they went into closed session about, because I don't know that they would be able to talk about it right now. I think it was something that happened prior, because they were talking about an ordinance that had passed, and I didn't catch the number. And
I wasn't sure if the two were related either.
Yeah, but either way, that was what the question for the first eGov question came in, and then there were some interesting ones after that. Let's see. Let's go to clip 2.
Is from Sam Sweet at 18 Elizabeth Place, Eero, New Jersey. I emailed the following question to the mayor's office a week ago, and as of today, they were not answered. So I'm going to council for answers on the following questions. What is the township's official policy regarding ICE and the enforcement actions within the community? How does the township plan to address the potential for community disruption and fear related to ICE actions? What is the current relationship between the Gloucester Township Police Department and ICE? Are there any formal agreements or cooperative efforts? Has the township ever received requests from ICE for information about residents or to provide assistance in detaining individuals? What role, if any, do Gloucester Township Police play in ICE enforcement enforcement actions within the township. Chief, is that something you can address?
So, I mean, we follow the New Jersey Attorney General directive. I would refer them to the Immigrant Trust Directive. We have no agreement. We enforce criminal judicial warrants that are signed by a judicial officer, a judge, and we would assist with that. We do not assist with administrative warrants that are issued, and we don't go on enforcement action. We're barred from doing that in the state of New Jersey by the Attorney General and the Attorney General's directive. There's information on the gtpolice.com website on immigration, which will answer everything, or you can go to the New Jersey Attorney General's website, look up the Immigrant Trust Directive, and we are in full compliance with that. Other than that, we don't do enforcement actions with ICE unless there is a criminal warrant for an arrest.
All right, so that's one of those questions that people have been asking online as I'm running for mayor.
Yeah.
And when I talk about, like, I'm not getting into national politics stuff, ICE is one of those things that does actually touch our communities, like locally to a degree here. The laws are all made beyond here.
You have no choice.
Right,
Yeah,
we're enforcing things. So even this scenario here, the mayor refused to answer Sam Sweet. So when people claim, you won't answer, well, why is the mayor not held to the same standard? The mayor's not answering also. So just to put that on the record. Council also didn't answer. They deferred it to the police department, who deals with ICE and in those scenarios there. And the police chief said, look, there's the immigrant directive from the state of New Jersey, that's what they follow. They're in compliance, with all that stuff there. We protect people's constitutional rights at a local level. We're not going on administrative, warrants and things like that. And that's it. There's no other really answer to it. Like it's a state level directive that's out there, right? It's federal policies, and the mayor, it's not his call, of what goes on with anything.
I mean, you've seen states kind of go up against it, and then they're overruled federally. So at this level, at our level and township level, it doesn't matter what your opinion is. You have no choice.
Right, you don't have a choice in it.
So yeah, we see a lot of national politics questions. We always do. Every election that always comes up.
Right.
Everybody wants to know what you think about national politics. National politics are really complicated, and they're really polarizing too.
Yeah.
And they want you to answer. Basically, I think my thing is they want people to answer so that if they're like, well, I really like the mayor, right? The mayor's never going to get involved in this. I want to make you answer this so that you split your support in half.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because no matter what it is, on a national level, it's like.
But it doesn't. I'll answer any question that pertains to the job that I'm running for. You know what I mean? Like, why am I going to answer for something that, what a I don't know, a MUA worker, what he does? I don't know. Why would I answer for that? I don't do that, or I'm not trying to do that. I'm not answering for, you go to work. I don't know if you're a plumber. What do they ask you? Like, what kind of electric you need here? You're like, 220, 221, whatever it takes. It's like, I don't know.
It's not,
it's not your job.
It's not the job. It's not the job of the mayor. So.
Why do you care what they think?
People want to hammer that
in. Polarizing thing
over and over again. Another political question here by Sam too.
Oh yeah.
This was great because this one was.
Here we go.
I think he got this idea from me because I posted online about this.
Our next question is from Sam Sweet at 18 Elizabeth.
I was shocked you allowed him 2 questions.
With election season upon us, can council please clarify the ordinance regarding political signs? It is my understanding that political signs were not allowed on public property, period. I believe that the ordinance was recently updated, superseding the ordinance from February 10th, 2015, which allowed political signs to be erected no sooner than 45 days prior to an election. In fact, I recall Public Works going around and grabbing signs and taking them back to Public Works for destruction. If my recollection of the ordinance is correct, why haven't the inordinate amount of Steve Sweeney signs been taken down? Can you please read the ordinance and clarify its meaning? So I'm going to address the destruction signs, those who are running for office, and I think it's very common knowledge, and I think that Public Works also makes those individuals aware that their signs, they can come and pick it up at the Public Works Department, not destroyed. Is that that is correct?
You can find which corner they're thrown away.
We've seen pictures of signs there. Political signs may be erected for each candidate in an election. They shall be erected no sooner than 45 days prior to an election and shall be removed within 15 days after an election. And it talks about, I'm looking at the ordinance here, it talks about if you're putting a larger sign, 16 square feet, 32 square feet, but no political sign shall be installed or placed on public property, including rights of way. Any such sign on public property shall be subject to confiscation. Every day on my drive to work on Coles Road, I'm sure we saw the Sweeney signs there. That, from what I know, is private property on that where those signs are located. If you go by the Gloucester Township Democrat Club, that is not a public property, that is a private property. But they have 45 days. You can put up signs 45 days prior to the election, and it must be down 15 days after the election. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
No,
Mr. Carlomere?
that's a concise statement of what the ordinance.
So I have a question for you. Can a resident have a sign on their lawn throughout the whole summer for election sign? So if they wanted to,
They can put a sign up on their private property.
and they can keep that on.
Campaign organizations are restricted as to the time that they start cluttering a community with signs.
Thank you.
All right, so this completely contradicts itself because the ordinance says that you can't put a sign out 45 until 45 days before the election. But
And you can also have it down for a very generous 15 days after, because that's very important that you're allowed to have it after an election.
But on your property, you can have it all year round.
But in the same ordinance, it says public property is not allowed at all. So when is this?
Yeah, this 45, 15-day thing means nothing because after they say 45 and 15 days, then they say you can't have a sign on public property.
And then they claim that, well, I don't know exactly where he's referring to, so I can't say that I know that, but every street has, like, even if there's no sidewalk there's a public easement, so people aren't walking in the road. Like, There's an easement that means it's public.
He's completely wrong, too. On Coles Road, that is not private property.
I don't know where he's referring to. I haven't
It's
been to
like,
know where
basically
he's referring to.
all the way down Coles Road. I mean, hundreds of them, right?
Really?
Yeah. The 42 entrances, Cross Keys Road. From Lowe's on Cross Keys Road all the way up to the Goat.
I hope you kids see what a silly waste of time this was.
Right? all the way up there. All the way down the public easement. All the way down Cross Keys Road. They were everywhere. The Sweeney signs were everywhere. I mean, that's got to be thousands, right? And some of them were like 3 in a row, right? And they were touching.
Yeah.
So
well, either way, yeah. So it's that was Sam's question. That it's always a hot topic around here, and
right.
He even mentioned, we've seen the pictures because Public Works does go out, take them and put them away. But there's an ordinance that they're following. But somehow that becomes the most important thing at certain times of the year. That's like, hey, those signs got to go. But all year long, you could see pressure washing and Ryan Homes and whatever else
Run
you
against
see
one of them,
all over
and
the place, and they'll be there for months and months and months. You put a sign up, a political sign of an opponent to the machine there. 15 minutes or so, you know what I mean? It's going.
And that's their guy, too.
What I mean?
Like, that's their guy. Sweeney is their guy. Sweeney's a Norcross guy.
That's
and nobody touched the Sweeney sign.
right.
They're still out there. They're still out there.
Yeah.
Nobody touched the Sweeney sign. So, look, I'm saying that in September, October, everyone should be able to put out signs anywhere they want to, because we just let all these signs go.
No, it's enforce what you want to enforce.
But and it's not like, and there's not a pickup area too. Like you made it sound like there's a pickup area. Public Works takes them, and you come to the pickup area.
Yeah, no, you have to go get somebody to hunt you
know
down.
What happened in 2021? They stole the Restore GT signs, and then they stole the Team D'Amico signs, and they put them all at Public Works. And when we called and asked, they said, let that signs out there. And we're like, where's our signs? And they're like, they're gone. And it took one dude, Ed, who ain't afraid of anybody, to go to Public Works and basically just barrel his way through and say, here they are right here in the wash bay.
Yeah.
And they found them, and then they were like, oh, yeah, this is where we're keeping them. So they let Ed take all the signs back.
Pictures went out on Facebook, and then it was all of a sudden, you can come down. You
guys can come pick your signs back up. So come on, man. Come on. You're not fooling anybody here.
It's a stinking sign. All right. So
it's a sign. You know what? It's when you don't have mailers that come in the mail, man. The mailers are expensive.
Yeah, people don't realize how much that
signs aren't cheap either. But sign is like the easiest way to get your name out there, to get some kind of recognition, because nobody can afford to send mailers out to people. Sign's the cheapest way to do it. Yeah. And they know
they have endless money.
And they know that if they get rid of the signs, they're getting rid of the guy who doesn't have all the money, and they're just trying to secure themselves a win.
They don't want elections is basically what it comes down to.
No.
They don't want elections.
We've seen a lot of that recently.
Oh my God, yeah. All right, so let's see. This clip here coming up is probably the most important clip of the evening that happened here. Not that other things aren't important, but I think this one had a lot of meat on the bone here, I guess you could say. Let's just play
Denise Coyne, Choose Landing. Good evening.
Good evening.
Is this microphone on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I want to address the township's handling of the proposed redevelopment of the Nike-based property by the Michaels organization and raise serious concerns about the process, particularly the resolution designating...
That wasn't here.
Sorry.
The Land Rover Defender.
All right. Designating them as the conditional redeveloper. I do not believe it is legally proper for council to approve a conditional redeveloper designation, especially one involving township-owned land in a designated rehabilitation area, through a consent agenda without formally acting as the redevelopment entity and following the required steps under the local housing and redevelopment law. When council is acting as the redevelopment entity, it must meet and deliberate in that role. A regular legislative meeting and a consent agenda, typically reserved for routine, non-controversial matters, are not appropriate for a major redevelopment action, like selecting a redeveloper. Doing so circumvents public transparency and the deliberative process required by law.
That's what they want to do.
Also, if no redevelopment or rehabilitation plan for the Nike base has been adopted through public notice, a hearing, and an ordinance adoption, then any designation of a redeveloper is premature and invalid. I also want to state for the record that on May 28th, I asked 8 specific questions about this redevelopment issue during the council meeting. That night, the township solicitor said he could not answer them on the spot and would get back to me. He did not, and neither did anyone else. I do not think it's fair that I have to use my 5 minutes of public comment time tonight to redress something I already brought forward. The public deserves timely answers when lawful process and township land are involved. So I'm respectfully requesting again, please provide a response to the 8 questions I asked on May the 28th. This process involves public property and public trust. It should be conducted out in the open, not through premature announcements, private events, or buried resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, that was a follow-up to, if you guys recall, about 2 weeks ago when there was a meeting. The recording didn't exist, and, well, they had issues with it or something, so, like, the last 5-6 minutes, whatever it was, of that meeting was captured, creating a you-know-what storm, and very embarrassing for them. Council president was not there. There was the vice president sat in, and he kind of let Ms. Coyne come back up because they were freaking out because the solicitor refused to answer her questions, and she's saying again, "Why am I coming back up here? You never gave me the answers that you said you were going to give me last week." So the response back here, we'll play this. Should we do the
short one?
All right, let's. So it's a pretty long response, but let's play the shorter version.
Mrs. Coyne had brought up public transparency regarding the Nike base. So this was on the agenda at the second council meeting in March. Those that are familiar with it, there's not a lot of frontage on Berlin Cross Street Road. It was an opportunity that the township put out for a request for expressed interest. There was only one submission that was made by the Michaels organization, and they're all throughout the United States, and they are headquartered in Camden City on the waterfront. This was put on the agenda at the second March meeting. All council members have an opportunity to discuss any items that are on the agenda, and the public had an opportunity to review that.
See, you had an opportunity to do that.
In regards
It's your fault, Joe.
In regard to the township has not accepted a scenario A or B of the Michaels proposal. It is most likely there will not be a police station that will be constructed and leased back to the township. It is not likely that there will be a vertical farming component to it. And it's not likely that there'll be a cannabis cultivation project. These were concepts that they put in their April 2024 submission to the town.
So he makes it sound like that was their idea to do that, when I believe that what originally they put out said that they were looking for that. I gotta refer back to that. I'm not sure.
I was just checking the March 25th podcast notes that we had, and there's no mention of it in.
No, it was in a resolution. I mean, in a consent agenda. It wasn't. There was no specific thing called out. And that's what he's saying here is, you had the opportunity. It was on the agenda somewhere. You didn't see it, so it's your fault that you didn't catch it. That it was mixed in with everything else.
Anybody? I mean, a consent agenda is like.
It's paying bills.
It's paying bills. Yeah,
it's routine stuff. That's what Denise's point is.
Refunds and bills, and
it's not proper to do it the way that you did it, because you didn't. It's the whole thing is very sketchy.
Also, just think about what he just said down now. So, a lot of the stuff that the cultivation, the new police department, the vertical farm, all this stuff that was in like a marketing video that came out, a month and a half ago, that the mayor put out about all the great things that are coming.
Oh, yeah.
He puts out this thing that all this great stuff's going to, we're going to have shops and cultivation.
No, he didn't say the cultivation. That all changed. The only thing that he had in there was, they called it a cogen.
The cogen, but there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff in his marketing video.
Well, yeah, no one knew that this was coming. It was a big surprise thing. And again, I brought this up when
he announced
after that business meeting. It's the business meeting that they have every year at Valley Brook. And so, before I went, somebody's like, "Watch, he's going to be promising something that's never going to happen, or that that no one knew about yet. It's a big surprise with the data center we were talking about before. You promised that, and that never happened." Well, this was it. So then we started doing a little bit of digging, and through some Oprah requests, come up with and find out, oh, here we go. This is there it is. You put out a request, and then looking back through and saying, well, when did they ever approve this? Oh, look, it was in a consent agenda. Why would they do it this way? And then looking in to figure out, is that even legal? It's really not proper way to do it, but it's they're claiming that everything's all good, and it's got to have to come back in front of the planning board. No, if you're transparent and you're what I mean, you're in front of, you want people to know this, everybody should be aware of it. Why are we finding out about this behind the scenes? And then the whole police station, the cultivation center, and all that stuff was out of the the announcement of it, but it was in the request for like the expression of interest that was in there. I believe that we asked to say, these are the ideas that we want to have. Who can come up with plans for it? I could be wrong with the cultivation part, but I believe that we asked for the police station. I don't know. Either way, it's not up front. Why can't this be done in public with public input? Why is it only one person's, the mayor's, vision, and then council just passes it? He blamed, if you listen to him through there, he also blamed everybody member of council. Every member up here could ask questions, and they didn't. The public, you guys could ask questions, and you didn't.
The timing,
it's
too.
Your fault. That's what gaslighting is. It's your fault.
The timing, too. We're less than 6 months now from an election.
Yeah.
And now promises are coming out on all this great stuff that we're going to build. and you're like, wow, I don't know if maybe let this guy stick around for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
Oh, some really cool stuff. And then when you actually get down to it, what it's going to wind up being is just townhomes.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So anyway, there's an additional piece too. So this all started with Carlemere, the solicitor, not answering Denise's question. So let's hear him answer.
Mr. Carlemere, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think your answers in response to the 8 questions that Mrs. Coyne directed are exact. And it's the typical same, although you and I have not had a conversation. I was going to raise the same points, but I think for the record, Mrs. Coyne made a misrepresentation to council because I made it very clear at last meeting with several questions that I would not answer the question during the meeting because I wanted to research it. I would not get back to her until this meeting. And as I spoke to you earlier, Mr.
Please
Council
do not
President,
shout out from the audience, please. Thank
and
you.
as I spoke to you earlier, Council President, that I was prepared to give the 8 answers to Mrs. Coyne tonight, as I said, and the record will bear me out, I said I would give her the answers at this meeting, but also your answers were exactly on point.
Thank you very much.
When has he ever referred back to the record? The only time I've ever heard him say that is when he knows it doesn't exist. The record will show it. Well, the record is not there. Right. The whole he bizarre, right? You were exactly right. You were not off on anything at all. But I do want to correct Miss Coyne on this this part here.
Yeah.
What?
So it's just.
And we didn't talk. You also clarified we didn't talk, but you got everything legally correct on what you said to her.
Yeah. He knew a lot. He knew a lot about it, like in the last.
Oh yeah.
For not even being here last.
Amazing.
Like, completely up to speed on everything. There was a lot of prep work that was done there.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So we did have Mr. Leader had questions. He went up there. So let's play his clip here.
The mayor announced several years ago that his residents would benefit from the solar farms being built. At that time, I asked the mayor via email how the residents would benefit, but received no answer. My questions are, how is this different than the benefits that the residents were supposed to enjoy starting with 2022 solar farms that has never been quantified? Further question, how will the benefits of this solar program be quantified? Third question, why is pay to play mentioned in the description? That's all my questions. Thank you, Council.
The solar program and how that will be quantified. So we're going out to bid to receive responses from the Board of Public Utility qualified developers of solar projects. So if you're a township resident and you're trying to reduce your utility bills, if you don't have a roof space or extra money to put solar in your house, this gives an opportunity for a Board of Public Utilities authorized company that provides community solar project to be selected under an RFP to give a substantial decrease or ability to take advantage of financial and environmental benefits of solar energy. So the township's going to issue a RFP for community solar developers. It's going to enable township residents to participate and receive energy savings from remotely sited solar projects. As far as quantifying that, that's something as we move forward, I'll try to get additional information for you, Mr. Leader.
So the program under the BPU must guarantee at least 20% savings or more for a 20-year period. It is an opt-in program only. No one is automatically thrown into the program. They can opt out at any time. And again, it must be approved by the BPU.
And residents can cancel at any time.
Do you follow that fully? I guess they're going to do
gist of it, but community solar farms. And
but what does that mean? Anyone can get. So if the savings is 20% and you have one house, I understand how you can save 20%. How do you get a community-wise? Like, so is it one of those like? I don't know. Like, so just say there's 500 people sign up for it, and say that another 500 sign up. Does the savings still amount, and it just goes less into each the more you spread it
because
out
there's
to
only
community, 'cause
so
there's only
much
so much that
power.
solar is producing, and what is it? I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. I mean, I know what it's like when you put it on your own house, but I don't. Community wise, I would think that there would have to be a limit to how many people can be on it.
I don't know what it is, other than like I know the solar program that we have on the GEMS landfill. Like we get paid money as a lease, like so that does go to like.
So we don't get paid
per. So it's going to our entire.
There's no power generation there. It's just they're just leasing the space from us. So.
Right. So does this get? Yeah. You can opt into going to this company who's providing because I think you can. I don't get involved with that, but I know that you can like change providers or something, but the delivery is still through the like PSE&G or.
Yeah, I wonder if that just becomes. I wonder if it's just like changing a provider and a provider that. The provider itself gets discounts because they're generating through solar. Maybe
I don't really know. But
then I guess too, your discount would probably depend on the weather. I mean, like if anybody if you've got like a couple cloudy months, your generation it's pretty crappy. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Right. I mean, it's a savings, I guess, possibly.
Yeah. All right. So there was another. Dave had some other questions, but it was kind of rehashing the same thing. He keeps asking about the green team, and Mercado keeps telling him, "I told you about this before. You got to go to the mayor's office." And Dave starts off his thing saying, "I've gone to the mayor's office and I've gotten no response. What else can I do?" And the answer he gets back is, "Go to the mayor's office."
Yeah, I don't. It's
like can nobody get this guy an answer? I mean, what do
you do like when you can't go to when the mayor never talks to anybody, right? And when you can't get an answer from the mayor's office, the next best thing to do is go to a council meeting where you have live people there that in some way have to at least recognize you're there. So it's what else do you do? I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, so then Dave had a couple other questions. He was talking about there was an acronym LIG that stands for. Or LRI, I don't know what it was, but it stood for Local Recreation Improvement Grants. Council admitted, like, there are a lot of acronyms, and we should actually try to specify what these actually mean.
It makes sense for a lot of the people that are kind of in this all the time, but like residents look at some of this stuff, and they have no idea.
Yeah, there was a streetscaping project that he asked about that was like $116,000 that the CFO, I guess, is going to have to answer. Cardis couldn't answer it.
Yeah.
Deferred it to her. What else was there? He asked about liquor license and the plenary denotation on some of the licenses, which basically just means you can sell everything. It's inclusive of all.
Yep.
Because some are just like a beer and wine, or some are like a packaged goods only. Some can do on premise. Some can do So it was all encompassing. I think that was pretty much it though for this meeting. It wasn't that action packed. That's why I said that Denise Coyne thing was probably the most impactful or meaningful part of this meeting. But beyond that, it was a pretty routine, and they have definitely done their goal of what they want to do. Is very little input from the public, just minor little hiccups here and there, and get in and out real quick. So, congratulations, guys! You did it! You finally did it!
You finally gotten rid of the pesky public. In your meetings. So
we're not going anywhere. We'll still be here recapping them. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for the next time that we're doing this. And
2 weeks? Well, we should probably do a.
We did need to do an update,
like election kind of. We'll do a Gloucester Township talk coming up soon.
Yeah.
And give some updates on some stuff.
Other than that, I guess we will see you guys all soon.
Yep. See you guys.
All right. Thanks.